Hello Twin Flame Tribe, this is Johan Conradi from Twin Flame Mission SA. Today I want to talk to you about Ascension. So as you know, you and your Twin Flame are one soul. You are born into the 3D realm as, into two bodies, two different polarities, a divine feminine and a divine masculine polarity. It has nothing to do with gender. It has all to do with energy and your polarity. The divine feminine twin is the positive, and the divine masculine, the feminine polarity. The reason why twin flames come together in the earth realm is for the sole purpose of ascension. I've covered the journey and sort of how that transpires in my previous videos, so I'm not going to go into that today. So what does ascension feel like? So you are in the dark night of the soul. You're obsessing about your twin. If you're the divine feminine twin and your life had been destroyed by your twin, your egoic self is totally in tatters and shattered. Your old belief system is absolutely devastated. It's broken. The templates you apply to your life no longer applies. You feel like you're dangling, you're hanging over the edge of a cliff, and you don't know, whether you should hang on or if you should let go. The obsessing doesn't stop day or night. You can't sleep, you can't eat. You're trying to find your twin in the 3D. Your mind is wreaking absolute havoc. It dredges up, the most painful memories of your breakup with your twin, memories of the amazing times you've had together. You're reminded of your twin in things you see around your space. Little memories keep on cropping up, and you are just in deep pain. So then, as you start aligning with your soul, as you start living in the now, as you start surrendering to your life situation and accepting what has transpired between you and your twin, and when you actually reach that point where your back is against the wall and where you realize that nothing you can do is going to change the outward situation you're in. In my case, I tried everything. When my twin left, it was literally a week and I jumped into another relationship because I could not deal with the devastation and the pain of her leaving. That relationship was actually good for me in the sense that it made me realize that I've got what I call a crutch template. That was one of my old templates, that I never wanted to be alone, that I always looked at somebody external to save me, to help me through my darkest times. I believe that started, when I was 7 years old and I died through abuse for a couple of seconds, and I felt my twin with me since the age of 8. I always felt that there's somebody external required for me to be okay, that I need to have a crutch to lean on, that I can't do this on my own, and that I am basically not okay on all by myself. And so I obviously, when I was like in the deepest moments of my despair and destruction, I went back to that template. I fell back to that crutch template. I jumped into another relationship to try and replace my twin that had devastated my life and left me. I felt I'd given up everything for my twin, which in fact I did. I left my family, my marriage of 25 years, my children, my home, all my belongings, everything in the egoic sense that meant anything and everything to me at that stage. I gave all of that up to be with my twin, and then she left, and she left devastation, and I was left to pick up the pieces of that. So at the end of the day, I jumped into this other relationship to try and replace her, which was a horrible idea. But I did learn through that, that nobody else is going to save me. This other women that I met in the relationship that I jumped in, very nice lady, very, very keen to be in that relationship. And all I could do was think about my twin day and night, obsessing over her, feeling my loss and devastation. It's like the worst thing I could do. So, I did the right thing. I eventually surrendered to this feeling that I won't get rid of this feeling of my twin, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, that my twin will always be the one, my home, the person that I resonate with most on earth, because we are one soul. There's no other way. So I surrendered to that feeling. I broke this lady's heart. That made me feel even worse. I already felt like a horrible person at that stage, because why would my twin leave me? And I felt that I was just not good enough, and I just felt horrible. I felt guilty, and I was just like in the worst place. I'd eaten so many guilt pies over the years. I never felt adequate. I didn't love myself. I was so hard on myself. Just living in judgment every day. I just wanted to die. And, as I surrendered to this, you also faced with the external influences, so the people in your life, like this lady I had the relationship with. I came clean. I told her the truth about my twin. I told her that I was a twin flame, what it meant for me. And at the end of the day, she couldn't understand why I would leave something behind that was very good. It was calm and it was good, for somebody as toxic as my twin, that destroyed my life like she did, and that devastated me and obviously broke me in a million pieces. She couldn't understand it. I could also not understand it at that stage. Remember, I wasn't awakened back then. And at the end of the day, I told her, look, I can't understand it, but it is the way it is. And my children said the same thing. And there's just, you can't explain it to third parties. It's just something inside you. You have to surrender, because you're in this pickle jar, you're in this pressure cooker, and it just feels like you're going to explode. So I surrendered. I learned about what the true spiritual journey meant, what was required of me, that it's a journey of subtraction and not addition, that the life that was destroyed by my twin was my egoic life, and that it was all divinely blueprinted. I did lose everything. I literally did. I almost lost my job. I hung on for dear life. I basically lost my family. I couldn't eat. I lost 25 kilograms. I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to live anymore. And I was just totally devastated. So I started living in the now. I learned the lessons. I started aligning with my soul. I started letting go. I started detaching from my ego. Slowly, I started detaching from my twin. And that's still a daily battle. It's very difficult, because you feel this person in your space, in your mind, in your heart, and you are the same soul. And that is why it is so difficult to detach from your twin, because they're always there. If you go inside, and because you are one soul, you always find your twin. And what your mind does then, when your mind finds your twin in your soul space, when you're living from that soul space, it latches onto that, and it like forces your thoughts to your 3D twin, and that makes it so difficult to detach. And it's a daily struggle, so it's the paradox of separation. You can never be separated because you're the same soul, but by finding your twin within you, you feel so separated, if that makes sense. And it's one of the hardest things to cope with on a daily basis. And as you live more from this no mind space, in Japanese they call it mushin. You start to float. It's very difficult to ground in your body. I started having conversations with God in my soul. I started looking down. For me, it was, if I closed my eyes, I could see this divine ball of light just floating, hanging around, looking down on me. And me being my egoic self back then. And I eventually found what they call the gateless gate into that ball. And I started realizing more and more that I am that ball, I am my soul. And now I look down on the egoic self, I look down on Johan, and I recognize that he is the created persona, he is the illusion, and I am of God. I am a thought of God, I am a soul, I am a divine child of God, I am abundance, I am the law of attraction, I am divine. And I look down on Johan and I see him struggling day to day, the ego pulling hard, trying to pull him back into the memories of the past, into the templates of old. And I remind him on a daily basis, that we are abundance, and that none of those old templates will serve him any longer. Not in his twin flame relationship, not in his life, not in his job, not in his relationship with his children. I am his soul, and I'm telling him there is a new way, a new world, there is a new dawn. And through this knowing is where strength and ascension comes from. Yes, it is very difficult to stay in your body. It is very difficult to ground. From a body perspective, if you're living from your soul space, it takes a heavy toll on your body. It takes a lot of energy to align with your soul, and that manifests in your body as ascension symptoms. You often feel nauseous, you've got headaches, you get body pains, muscle pains, back pain, you feel extremely tired all of the time. It affects your relationships. You can't, for me it feels like I can't be with people most of the time. I seek solitude, I seek my own space, I seek my own company. I talk to God all the time. It is very difficult to chit-chat. You can't chit-chat with people anymore, just about the ins and outs of your day. You immediately recognize when those around you vibrate at a lower frequency. Very difficult to deal with. And it takes a lot of getting used to, In the meanwhile, your ego is also in the mix, always trying to pull you back down into the egoic space. But as you know, I, my soul, am singular. I have no opposite. I don't experience pain or grief or pleasure. I don't experience love or fear. I can only be. I can be. I am unconditional love. I am joy, and I am peace, and I am of God. And those are the things that I am. It is like God said to Abram. He said, I am. And that means he was, he will be, and he is, all in one. There is no past or present or future. There is no time, in fact. And if you live from this space, you also need and want nothing. You desire nothing, because that is things of the mind, and you are in your soul space. In your soul space, you find your twin, and you feel that that resonance, and you know, you are one being. You look down on your ego, you look down on your twin's ego. And that is why I said it is so difficult to if you float down into your egoic self, you know, you feel that miss, you feel that loss, and it's extremely easy to feel the heartbreak of not being with your twin in the 3D. Because if you're in the 5D, in your soul space, you're with them, you're together, and then when you float down into the 3D again, you immediately feel that loss and separation, because that is where dualism exists. That is where the opposite polarity is then missing from your life. And your mind will always latch onto that, because that is the closest thing to your heart. That is the closest thing that you will experience. And that is the thing that will mean the most to you in your life, here in the sandbox on earth. So I have absolute sympathy for you guys that are in the dark night of the soul right now. I've been in the dark night of the soul for the past 6 months. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I feel I'm sort of at the tail end of it. You know, I'm living much more from the soul space. My ego is sort of a distant memory. I do float down into my ego every now and then. Like this morning, I woke up. I was extremely sad. I was missing my twin extremely much this morning. You know, I had done all the work. I'd forgiven her 1,000,000 times over. I'd forgiven myself, you know, for thinking that I was not good enough for her, that I could have dealt better with our relationship. I love myself unconditionally. I love my egoic self. I realize why it's there, the purpose it fulfills. And you know, I'm in a good space, but I still, that didn't prohibit me from feeling that deep loss this morning. Sometimes I will feel my twin's anxiety. I will feel her fears in the 3D. I will feel her love for me. I will feel her nostalgia and how she misses what we had together. And I feel all of that intense emotion, that pain, that love, and that also makes it very difficult to deal with, because you'll notice I said the word I feel. So I mean, the soul cannot feel. The soul is, it is a state of being. So it is only your egoic self, your ego, that feels. Your emotions are basically a result of your mind's thoughts, and the mind, as you know, is conscious and subconscious. These feelings from your twin, it's metaphysical energy that travels towards you, that is perceived by your impressionable mind, which is your subconscious, and it then manifests as these emotions within yourself. I mean, that happens regardless of whether you're living from your soul or not. That is the way that we put together as the threefold construct on earth: your body, your mind, and your soul. And these things will happen, you know, it will happen day to day. It happens all the time. And it is just something you need to deal with. So you can see it's very complex, all the ascension symptoms, dealing with your ego and mind, you know, dealing with your body and the ascension symptoms. And at the end of the day, you're dealing with all three of the threefold construct. You are your soul, you have a mind, you have a body, and you are also therefore dealing with your mind and body. But stay in the soul level. You know, stay in the singularity, live from the higher self. That is where the law of attraction lives within you already. That is where you need or want nothing. Stay in the now, and things just get better day by day. I wish you a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon again. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, go over to the website, twinflamessionsa.wordpress.com. There's free content to download. There's an introductory course on twin flames and twin flame relationships. If you want to know more, you can buy consultations with me. Very cheap. There's a self-study course I wrote, 140 pages, jam-packed with all the information to manage your twin flame relationship. And I hope to talk to you guys soon again. Thank you. Bye-bye.